as we've been asked, there are other things going on here. So keep asking us your questions. What do you think about Boris Johnson and what he's doing with the inquiry and who should go as a result? Now, in the meantime, this picture of Keir Starmer has emerged drinking a beer. Keir and beer. Marvellous. Like a bit of rhyming in my headlines. And he's there in the office of a Durham MP on the campaign trail around the time of the Hartlepool by-election. And he's been accused of breaking the COVID rules because at this time you weren't supposed to be socialising with people indoors like this. So, Pippa, what's the truth? Why isn't the Mirror getting as het up about this as it is about the 2 a.m. breaking of swings and suitcases of booze in Downing Street?
Well, it's interesting because this photo actually first came to light, was published by our rivals at The Sun a couple of days after it was taken, and was debunked at the time, and there was not really any interest, and it wasn't really particularly followed up because Keir Starmer's excuse was accepted as fact, which is that he was at a work event because they were campaigning for the Hartlepool by-election. They were working before, they took a break to get some food and drink, and then carried on working afterwards. And there's nothing in the rules at the time that banned you, of course, from eating or drinking on work time, and people had to have lunch or dinner. They ordered a takeaway. He obviously ordered a Cobra beer or whatever type of beer it was, rather than a can of Coke or a bottle of water. But they insist that because they were working beforehand and afterwards, it was in fact a work event and not a social event, and therefore entirely within the rules. And I have to say, it does feel there's a bit of false equivalence here. I mean, this is one event which people are quite right to ask questions about, because I think the Labour Party need to give the answers, and Keir Starmer did that yesterday on the BBC. But it's just not on the scale, either in terms of sort of, being a clear-cut social event, or indeed in terms of the number of events as those which we're currently looking at government. And another important point, of course, is that even if it was a breach, which I don't think it is the government who sets the rules, not the opposition. And so while it's right for Keir Starmer to explain his actions, and fair enough that people want to ask the questions, it's just not in the same ballpark. And frankly, the fact that it's sort of emerged on the front page of the Mail on Sunday, whatever it was, in the last few days, looks to me a bit like a distraction technique rather than anything else.
Yeah, it's kind of thing that the Tories are saying, how can he? He's a raging hypocrite. And they're talking to the Tory voters who read those newspapers, trying to convince them that there is an equivalence.